Hey everybody, my name is Allison and I am the founder and creative director of Fracture Creative.
Hi everyone, I'm Nina and I am the copywriter and strategist for Fracture Creative.
Hey guys, I'm Tori and I am the creative producer here at Fracture Creative.
You're listening to the first episode of Digital Darlings, a podcast all about marketing where we're going to talk shop, talk trends. It's honestly what we're usually talking about together, and we just decided, let's make this a podcast.
Yeah, and today you can expect us to talk a little bit about the box office roundup, some new TikTok formats and how we've adjusted, and how consumers are the new marketers.
Okay, so now that you guys are ready, let's get started. Okay, so one of the things that you guys both have to live through every single week is me talking about the box office report.
Yes.
And I thought it might be fun to make everyone listen to me talk about the box office
idea.
report. So, to be honest, 2025 I think has been a really good year for the box office, especially for Warner Brothers. They've had like non-stop releases, taking number one. So the question is, Wicked 2, advertising has been everywhere. They've got all kinds of paid partnerships again. It's going nuts. So is Wicked 2 gonna perform better than the first Wicked did, or Wicked for Good, or is it gonna perform the same, or is it gonna have a drop off? And I looked at the last Wicked and it did about 750 million worldwide over its whole theatrical run.
That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, I think that the movie's budget, I believe I saw, was like 150 million. So I don't know if people kind of casually know this about movie marketing. They might not, but the marketing budget and the film budget are not the same. Normally you take the film budget and you double it to the marketing budget. So for a movie to make any actual money, it has to double its budget to just hit break even, basically. So for Wicked, if that's the case, for the first Wicked, it was 150 million for the budget. They would have had 150 million or so for the marketing. So they need to make 300 million to make their money back. They made 750. So a big win for Universal in that sense, right?
Yes. Yeah.
There's a lot of strategy behind splitting it up too.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna make double the amount of money they would have the first time, just putting it all out.
Yes.
At first I wasn't super keen on it being split into two movies. Like, I'm obviously like a musical theater fan. I love Wicked, and I was like, this can all fit into one film.
Yeah.
But I think it's like so smart from like both the movie standpoint, box office, also marketing standpoint, to have like two different massive movies come out in the span of a year, basically.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And as far as I can tell, if I remember right, Harry Potter was one of the first ones to split. And that ended up
for the final film.
Right, because they took
Yeah.
part 7 and put it into part 1 and part 2, or for the final book, and that was one of the first
revolutionary.
ones. Hobbit did it as well, so like it became this kind of trend a little bit, and I think that, you know, I agree, I think it could have been fit in one movie, but I also think that they were able to do stuff like the new songs they put into the second movie, which makes them Oscar eligible. Like that's kind of a new territory for them to get into.
Yeah.
And it allowed them to expand the post-intermission part of the musical, so to speak.
Yeah. And I'm happy it means that like other kind of movies like this will be coming out soon. Like Sabrina Carpenter just announced she's going to be in the new Alice in Wonderland remake of Universal.
Yes.
Like, I'm curious what either it be like musicals or like, you know, old school Disney movies, like, or not even Disney. I wonder what else they'll do.
Even Adele just signed up for a new movie. I can't remember. I'd have to look it up, but like
Yes.
Adele just signed up. So like they're all kind of doing that type of
They're
thing.
tapping in.
Yeah, and I'm assuming Avatar will again make another $1 billion, just like the other ones have all made.
Literally, like, I feel like everyone I know, like, sees it in a way that it almost feels like you have to see Avatar when it comes out to movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like not even a question.
From my
Experience.
14-year-old niece to like my dad to
Yeah.
like friend. Like I just, it is like
It's a
very
human experience. It connects us truly.
Yeah,
James Cameron's kind of forcing us all to watch these movies, I
And
think.
not to keep nerding out on this kind of stuff, but what that is a quad 4 audience. So basically what it means is that you're trying to get all quadrants of audiences. Try to get male, female, like you're trying to get everybody. That's
The
a
whole
quad 4.
demographic.
Avatars have all ended up being huge quad 4 movies that can pull the entire audience through.
Can you think of any other quad 4 films?
I mean, there's a lot. Like Superman is meant to be a quad 4. Like anything where you're really trying to hit every single target audience. Like, you know, like a movie like Running Man, for example. That is, I don't even know if it has a PG or a PG-13 or an R, but it's going for like a more adult audience. So that's not a quad 4 then.
Okay.
But like all your like the big blockbusters tend to want to all hit that
Yeah. The
audience
summer
range. And it
blockbuster
doesn't always
flicks.
hit, but
Yeah.
like the marketing is very clearly gold, to, like clearly set up to try to
Yeah.
hit kids,
Every single
moms, dads, grandparents, you know, like the across the board, singles, couples, everything.
Yeah.
So,
Totally.
So Anaconda comes out on Christmas Day, which I think is what we call counter programming, where they're like trying to get people who don't want the warm, fuzzy Christmas
Warm,
movie.
yeah.
They're gonna go to Anaconda instead.
Yeah,
So,
no,
you know,
that's smart.
and you know, that's hit or miss on Christmas Day movies that are not necessarily, like I believe last year Nostradamus came out on Christmas Day. And so like, you know, it's hit or miss whether it works, but it's definitely an interesting attempt to like
Yeah.
be the counterweight
Yeah.
to the big movies. I could talk about this way too long, forever, and I am, you know, really excited.
We're signed up for that.
Yeah, I know, I made you do it. So like that's why I'm really excited that we now get to sit and like have these discussions.
Yeah.
There's
So-
a space. There's
Yeah.
a space
This
to
is
do
a
it.
safe space.
Obviously, we all use TikTok, Instagram, and they're constantly updating their formats, whether it's sizing, requirements. You guys have been noticing this, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Did you guys see, what was it, the very small aspect ratio that was on Instagram? It felt like it was like 1:50. You know, and everyone was zooming in. What were y'all's thoughts on that?
Well, I read that Instagram had done it to try to create a cinematic feel to something because,
Interesting.
like, you know, like anything else, like Square isn't really
Yeah.
Square feels social now,
Yeah.
and the wider the frame gets, the more it feels
Yeah.
theatrical. And
It definitely
cinematic.
had that Wild West feeling.
Yes.
It's very like long, it has a dramatic effect to it. But what's really fun is with TikTok, we were actually able to create a more so 3D format. And we did that with our How to Train Your Dragon spot. It was called Hurry 3D.
Get ready to take flight. How to Train Your Dragon is streaming now on Peacock.
I'm ready.
Allison, you were working tirelessly on this.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was so exciting.
Yeah, can you explain more to everyone listening and watching, like what it means to have a 3D element on the phone?
So yeah, so it was a brand new format. There's only been a few of them. We got a few examples from other brands. Everybody knows that there are times where you open up TikTok and the first thing you're fed is an ad. Mine always tend to be movie ads of some kind, but they can be all kinds of ads, product, you know, anything you want. I think McDonald's, Taco Bell just did a big one. So it's like, you know, it's like a forced ad kind of thing, and you're forced to do it. So the client had come to us and really excited, saying they had this chance to do this new 3D immersive TikTok experience as the top view ad. And they wanted to take one of our spots, which had a lot of rotoscoping and like things flying over type and kind of flying all over the screen, and to be able to put it into that new format. It was a paid ad, so we were luckily enough, like we ended up getting 24 million views on that ad or something like that.
We did another spot like that for Jurassic, am I right?
Jurassic, we did more top views, and we did one that we were faking alive at the front of it. Be careful where you step.
I hate the jungle. I try to avoid it now.
Why is that?
That was a really fun one because it also felt like you were almost playing the game too. The game players of Jurassic, the people that go to the film, that love the whole franchise. It was a lot of fun
People
to see.
that just like lives,
Yes,
that like get, you know, not
exactly.
understanding what
Yeah.
it
You
is.
can really play with like the actual, like what the video is like, whether it's a live or like, you know, faking a comment and then like breaking the comment up into like exploding it over the asset. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like in a way it works even more so than like doing that on Instagram, because it's like people use TikTok in that kind of more innovative ways right now.
Thinking about that stuff, for a while, we were doing really flashy ads on TikTok and on Instagram for all these movies. And then it became a trend where it was like, let's not be flashy, let's be a little bit more native to the TikTok experience itself. So that's kind of I think that's allowed us to kind of be clever in all kinds of different ways about feeling native into the actual software. But what do you guys think? Do you miss like the shiny, polished TikTok stuff, or do you think all of it being native, black, white type, very TikTok styling is the better way for it to live on TikTok?
I think that right now the trend of like the native TikTok styling is the way to go. It kind of brings us to our next subject actually about like user generated content.
Yeah.
You know? Because like to reach audiences, I think speaking natively to them and like when the brand or the studio, the movie, when you feel like they are in on the joke, they're in on the culture, they're in on the conversation, like it's more authentic feeling currently.
Yeah.
So like for me as a user, like I'm more likely to engage with something with like at least on TikTok right now.
Yeah, and I feel like I trust what they're putting in front of me if it's something that aligns with people I naturally follow or the conversations I'm already having, as opposed to like a shiny object that's being pushed upon me. I really like something that's more in line with what I'd be actually watching or interacting with.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, because I think about when I finish up a TikTok and it takes you to the ad, those are always the more polished ads, it feels like, right? Versus feeling more organic. And so I'm not going to say I skip ads, so I'm not going to say that. So we're not going to.
I only skip the ads where they tell me I've been scrolling too long. Other than that,
one to skip.
that's the only one I'll skip.
You know what? Mind your business.
Yeah,
Mind
and like,
your
I'm
business,
sorry,
algorithm.
go away. I need my 3 hours of brain rot.
Well, I mean,
it's good for us.
It is good. It's heartwarming.
does anybody else have a screen time? Like,
No.
do you have a limit on your
no.
TikTok?
No, and I honestly, the Sunday notification when it tells me like what my screen time is, it's just not my business. I haven't looked at it, and I'm happier.
Yeah,
for
in
it.
this business, you cannot have a screen time limit.
Yeah.
Like I've questioned, like, oh, I should take a digital detox, and I'm like, no, that's my livelihood.
Yeah.
That's true. We don't have the ability to turn off social without missing out on trends and all that kind of stuff. But yeah,
and I wonder what it would be like also just to like not understand like what's happening in the world, like culturally. Like I feel like it'd be kind of boring.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, because I feel like the world is now taking inspiration from social versus the other way around in some ways, right?
100%.
So that's
and social's
switching.
very much changed like how the mainstream culture is. Like it's like made like everything originate first on social.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why.
Well, that's interesting because because we're going to talk about content and influencers and kind of how that's part of the marketing world now.
Yeah.
Last night we were at the Clio's, which is, we're all a little, we're good. We're recovered.
Right now.
Yeah, we're recovered. But we had a great night at the Clio's. And the thing is, they actually announced a Clio creator at the award show. So there's a new category that's meant to deal with, because you can't ignore that influencers and that marketing on social is a new beast and a new game.
Yeah.
And so I think the Clios are trying to we're going to embrace that as well, and not just create a new influencer category inside of the marketing stuff, but make it its own.
Yeah.
Because it is such its own beast that you can't necessarily compare someone doing. Like someone might have the greatest down and dirty green screen TikTok, and that's going on against the most polished high-end trailer. Like that, they can't compete in that same world, right? It's apples and oranges. So the idea that they're making their own and recognizing that the influencer market is not going to stop. This is only going to get bigger and more influential over the course of the next, however long we survive.
It's just beginning, and these new generations are coming up, and they have a much more tapped in knowledge to how to use social media. So I think we're just at the beginning.
Well, that brings us to our next subject, which is consumers as marketers. Definitely, we've been seeing a trend, of course, for many years now of like huge parts of the marketing budget going toward influencer ideas and fan engagement, both social and in real life. And I feel like post-COVID, really, when we all just started living on our phones, it's like we've now reached an influx of that. And it's, what I think is interesting is a new show called On Brand. That kind of just like had us thinking about this, but if you don't know, your mom probably watches it. Jimmy Fallon is a host. Bozeman from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is on it.
We will do a whole episode for Housewives for you one day.
Okay, good.
Just
And
so you know.
Love Island.
And we'll do an episode for Love Island. We will. We will get dedicated episodes for those.
Thank you. That's where
Unfortunately.
I will thrive. No, fortunately. But basically in this show, like they're not taking like advertising agencies. Unfortunately, otherwise we would have submitted, but they're actually just taking
Individuals.
consumers, fans, individuals, and they are tasking them with thinking of ideas for massive brands. So like Dunkin' Donuts. I do think that it's like a microcosm of something that's happening right now where like brands are really seeing the importance of user-generated content.
Yeah.
And like for me, a lot of effective marketing that I get is, you know, maybe influencers, but also like just organic fan moments.
Totally.
And I think of like my favorite shows right now that I love, like Overcompensating, for instance. Like I first heard about that show by fans who were making videos using sound bites.
Okay.
Like,
And
what
then you
is
start
this?
following the rabbit trail. You go down the rabbit hole.
And then I find it there. So I do think it's really smart for, and we love thinking of influencer ideas and like ways to get that user generated content. You know, whether it's like making like an AR mask or like a little, you know, a contest of sorts, like to get people really engaged. So I'm curious how you think this is gonna like further, you know, develop.
So, okay, I'll put this up. We'll show everybody this TikTok.
Okay.
It was the greatest advertisement I had ever seen, and it was literally someone in a drive-through line, like completely user-generated content.
Amazing.
It was for, I don't know if you guys have heard. If you haven't heard, your algorithms are failing you. The Baja Blast pie.
We're not from the Midwest.
And we
Doesn't
don't
matter.
like
Everybody
Mountain
knows.
Dew or
Everybody knows what this Baja
Unfortunately.
Blast pie is. Literally, like, cost everyone nothing. Like it's
Amazing.
I want to look at the view count on it too because I think it was
I do
going
think
nuts.
for research purposes, we might need to get it.
Oh, I'm already doing that for Thanksgiving.
Okay,
It's already
good.
good. It's locked in.
No turkey, just a Baja Blast pie.
We'll see.
Just,
We'll see.
yeah,
couple
a
Baja
couple on the
Blasts,
table.
yeah.
They said it looks like a key lime pie.
it looks
like,
lethal.
It looks
Let's be real.
These like stunt kind of things also, like, so that's user generated content, the guy in the directory, but like that food item itself, like I'm thinking about Kraft mac and cheese. This came out with a disgusting, I believe it's an apple pie flavored mac and cheese.
Why?
for
Why?
Thanksgiving.
I don't think that
And-
needs to exist.
No,
I don't
know.
understand.
It's just like the
I don't-
stunt marketing for it is like that.
Yeah.
It's like this conversation.
Yeah.
That's why they're doing it.
But-
So, like,
but I don't
there's
want the
buzz
product.
around it. I don't want the
Like-
product either. But now I'm like thinking about Kraft mac and cheese. You know?
Yeah.
Well,
sure.
it's funny you say that because what was that show on Apple TV with the soccer coach?
Oh, Ted Lasso.
Yes. I can't believe
The
I've
soccer
even forgot.
coach.
Yeah, the soccer
It's like
coach.
one,
Well,
yeah.
here in LA, they actually had a couple of the coffee shops selling the biscuits.
that's
so
so
they
yeah.
made his biscuits
The little box,
from
pink box biscuits
So
and all
I
that.
feel like it's one of those things that it gets people talking about the conversation, talking about the
Yes.
films,
Yeah.
talking about just what's going on.
And this
It feels a little bit more organic.
Yeah, and so I guess that's, the answer to the question. We like the more user generated rather than the shiny
yeah.
placement.
And it comes back to probably authenticity
Yeah.
at the same
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Because I feel like the goal in all of this is we want to create something authentic. Like no one needs to look at these ads or TikToks, but it is our job. And so why not make it fun? Why not make it authentic? Do something we're proud of.
Okay, our next subject is called hot takes and headlines.
Okay.
So I have a couple headlines related to marketing, very exciting, that I'm gonna share with you guys, and then I want to hear your takes on it.
Sure.
And it has to be hot takes. So the first one is Starbucks bear craze, and basically it was an Ad Age article that I thought was interesting. But basically, if you guys don't know, the Starbucks bear cup that they just came out with, it's like a little like honey bear.
Sure.
And there's like a little beanie on top that looks like it's like a barista's hat, right? So this came out, and somehow I missed this because like honestly, like I am the market. Like I should have been like targeted for this, but it's fine. Maybe it was more for teenagers. And basically people loved it so much that I think the retail price was like $29. People are reselling it on the internet for like 4 times that amount. And fights broke out in Starbucks across the nation.
I hate it.
Where baristas like had to literally call in security. Obviously, I know you two started some of the riots for the bear, so if you could speak
Right.
Obviously,
to that.
I
And,
took
yeah.
out people who were buying the bear.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
This
good.
is no. This is a no for me. Next.
they also limited the bears heavily per store. So it was only like 1 to 2 or a handful of bears per store. So
and like intentional.
right, so they played the supply and demand game in that
Sure.
sense, and
Yeah.
and it worked, but honestly, like it feels like a throwback to the Stanley Cup thing. Like it's just, I don't know, like it's something about this rampant like consumerism that's trendy. I wish Starbucks would have made tons, like available for everybody. You could order it online and had sold it for $15 a pop or whatever, right? Like so,
it's like the novelty around it, and like knowing that people will spend like crazy.
But they want the craze. They want the craze.
Would we be talking about it if they did what I said?
Yeah,
and
probably not.
Probably
no,
not.
it's like the Trader Joe's tote bags.
Yes.
That came out in pastels.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but people
are
did the
reselling
same
it for
I was
thing.
not
$1,000
aware that Trader
Yeah.
Joe's had pastel tote
they
bags.
they
now.
had, and they're like mini. They're like
Oh, they're
purse
cute, I bet.
sizes.
I
They're
bet they're
cute,
cute.
but like
I wonder if some, studios will be doing this also for some, seeing the success of this. Like,
Yeah.
there's any like merch coming out,
Yeah.
or
the influencer merch game. So that's like a totally different thing, but
Yeah.
that's an also like it's just
Definitely.
But the idea that so much merch is developed because movie merch has been around for a really long
forever.
time.
Yes.
Like
posters,
the
back in
popcorn,
the day.
popcorn.
Oh, the
buckets are
buckets.
doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I saw the Badlands popcorn bucket, and then they dropped the Wicked popcorn bucket. People will just buy the buckets and
I know, I
then
should
try
have
to sell
kept
them.
my Wicked bucket.
So I do think that the movies have been playing the merch game for a while,
Yeah.
but it's just now everybody plays the
Yeah.
merch game.
we don't have DVDs and VHS anymore, so
Yeah.
we need something to like
Well, we
see on
do,
our shelf.
but, yeah.
Well, yeah, the common folk
Yeah.
do not. Yeah.
Okay, the next headline that I want to get your take on.
Mm-hmm.
So, 11 Labs came out with a new AI marketplace that lets brands use famous voices for their ads. Some of the names that they have Liza Minnelli, Art Garfunkel, Judy Garland, John Wayne. So, it's like very iconic names, but like, first of all, I'm confused about the legality about this, and also like, what do we think this means for
I have
AI?
That's so terrifying.
You think so?
I'm
Yeah.
horrified.
Yeah.
But I'm always on the side of I want to learn more about these products and tools. I want to be ahead of it so that way it can't get ahead of me.
As far as I understand it, the 11 Labs, which I believe Matthew McConaughey is also a part owner of, like he's doing his voice. So he is. If you're alive and you can sign away the consent for your own likeness and whatnot, then I don't really have an issue with an actor saying I'm okay with losing control of my likeness.
Yeah.
I don't think all of them have thought that through.
Well,
100%
not
yet,
all of them are alive. So is
The
this
ones
through
that
the
aren't alive,
estates?
I think the estates that I find a little bit
Eerie.
less kind of kosher, like
Yeah.
a less
Yeah.
acceptable. Just
Yeah.
because I'm assuming the states are approving this because all of the ones that we're talking about are not unlicensed. Like these are the permission is given by the people if they're alive or the estates. Maybe we need to change laws so that states can't give away likeness in the future.
Because like what
I don't
if
know.
John Wayne like actually doesn't want to be peddling like Tide Pods, but that's what
that's what his voice is used for.
grandchildren are saying. That
Yeah.
it's a weird, and also like from a perspective like as an actor, like I have heard of people going in and recording. I have not done this. I'm like not giving my voice to AI. They go in and record something, and then they're like, "Oh wait, this is like for a British accent. Like, do you want me to do a British accent?" And they're like, "Oh no, well we can make it British in post."
Yeah,
so
it
like
takes away the art.
they can like
Yeah.
really just.
Well, it
take-
reminds me of when they made the Tupac hologram.
Yeah.
And they had him perform at Coachella. Like, it was probably an unforgettable experience for those who have never seen Tupac perform. But, like, that's kind of weird.
It is.
Yeah, but it's not going away. It's something that we're going to have to reckon with. I think that I did hear when we started when I started reading articles about the whole likeness thing with acting and whatnot. This is something that I do feel like could, again, maybe we haven't thought through all the long-term consequences of some of this stuff yet, because somebody made the point like, all right, if you sign away your likeness at a certain age, 45 years old or 40 years old or whatever it is, but then like you age, you continue growing, and then you pass away or whatever, and your family is left behind, and then all of a sudden your AI likeness is now being used from when you were 45. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's almost like it seems like it could cause harm and pain to some of the families.
Yeah.
Like to have someone they love just show up in front of them again on a movie that they didn't know or expect. I don't know. It's small in that sense.
That would
but
be terrifying.
It seems like it'd be. Yeah.
I would,
There's also companies now where they do product placement with AI within like movies and TVs, and they constantly are changing the product that like someone's holding. So it's like a Diet Coke one day, it's a Mountain Dew the next day, depending on like who's buying it. So like that's a whole other episode.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need an ethics community on how to approach this, but it's not there yet.
Yeah.
There needs to be protections put in place for all of this, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know. It just, there's a part of it that's just a little creepy. There's
is,
something about it that's
100%.
just creepy. Like, I just
100%.
don't, you know.
I mean, it's very
like,
much not human.
It is,
but Uncanny Valley all over the place. Like, no matter how good all the AI stuff is, I mean, we're in trouble. We're in trouble.
The good news is this podcast is not AI.
Yes, no AI.
And,
they can't use our voices.
They can't use our voices, and we have some exciting stuff coming
Yeah,
up, right?
so thank you so much for watching, listening, however you're consuming this. And just to keep you guys posted, we will be creating more episodes just like this. We want to hear about what you're interested in, and we'll be talking about it.
Yay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I love you.